Hey, Ray Halbrook here with Livestream STL. Good afternoon to everybody, early evening, and we have a brand new show coming up right here, and I'm going to show a shot right here of the boys. Wave at the camera, this one right back here. Hey, there it is. This is the coach's box, and we're going to jump right in here. I'm just kind of the guy right here that's just going to be, moving the dials and whatnot, but Matt Schutte is going to be taking us in here, and Matt, I'm going to go ahead and open you up here, my friend, and hopefully we get everybody on this at the same time.
Test.
There we go. Are
London.
we testing? London calling, right?
London.
There you go.
Test.
Take it away, my friend.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first edition of the Coach's Box. We'll see how this goes. Are all of us going to be locked down 5-6 days from now? We don't know, but for now, we're in an undisclosed location. I'll say central Jefferson County, and
Somebody
we'll go
needs
from
to turn
there.
their volume down on their phone.
Somebody didn't follow directions from the pre-show meeting. I'm not going to put money on which one it is, but everybody's – so we're all turning them down. So,
yeah, there it is.
So Ray and I are here kind of to just lead things off but get out of the way, I think. Ray, is that a fair
I would say so.
assessment? All right.
I would say so.
Because what we've got is an assortment of some of the finest coaching minds that Jefferson County and the East Missouri area has ever produced. So I'm going to introduce those fellows
They showed
to you
up
now.
later.
So here to my left is Coach Jason Jarvis from Herculaneum High School, entering his 20th year in education, I believe he said. Coaches boys basketball, assistant coach for football, and track and field weight room. Help out with the weight room
in the spring.
So not right now, however. Her weight room is shut down, right? Next to him is Mr. Riley Blair, who's going to enter his 14th year coaching the girls basketball team at Herculaneum High School. He's also coaching cross country and track and field. Hello, Riley.
Hello.
And lastly, Chris Miller. Just finished his first year at St. Pius X High School as the basketball coach there and a faculty member in the Grandview School District. So that's who we are. I am just here to kind of kick things off and then get the heck out of the way. So this kind of came about, I think, Chris, you kind of started this discussion. We got to chatting on Facebook a little bit, and nobody's got as much to do as they would be because all of us, I'm in education working at St. Pius X, along with Chris down at Grandview, Jason teaching social studies over at Herky as well. Ray, your business has been impacted quite a bit
Very much
by
so.
this.
Yep.
And Riley, now I know you're coaching, but I think you and I are the ones that are still working pretty much regular, right?
Definitely, every day.
So we just got to talking and said, what can we talk about? What can we do? How much trouble can we get in? That seemed to be where Chris's angle was. So got to talking about some things that might be of interest to other folks. And, obviously the reason we're here, the reason we've got the time for this right now is school's out. None of us know when school's going to be back in. The Herky District, I don't know about you guys, St. Pius tentatively scheduled to come back on April 27th. Is that about when you guys are?
As far as I know, yes.
Grandview, I think, is April 24th. But, that's all up in the air right now because we don't know what's going to happen.
Right. And, Ray, you've got a son up at Truman State University.
Yeah.
He's home for the semester now,
Brought him home this week and got all this stuff last week. So
and doing some online learning to finish up the semester.
Yep, that's the plan.
And that's what we're doing at St. Pius X, trying to finish up or at least go through the month. And I don't know that a whole lot of people think any of us are going to be back in school for the rest of the school year, but who knows? So, Herculaneum, you've been doing some online learning, I guess. How's that been going?
It's going all right. Been putting some things out there for the kids to do, and we put out some videos I think are coming up that all the high school teachers put out is getting ready to come out, and we got some things going. I know that kids are getting involved, so that's a good thing.
Chris, what about Grandview? What's going on down there?
Well, from day one, when we had our faculty meeting about if we're going to do anything moving forward, which the goal was to try to have them continue doing some kind of learning, we basically, since we've all utilized Google Classroom, we continuously said we're just going to keep putting content out there and try to do lessons. Some teachers are doing flipped classrooms where they video themselves. Obviously it's not the same thing as having the normal, teacher-student interaction in the classroom. But we also said it's going to be for a grade because otherwise, you'll have kids who do and kids who don't. So when we started doing that, as we said from day one, other schools haven't necessarily done that. And I'm glad we did, because if I'm going to put all this trouble into trying to put all this together, which is tough. I mean, honestly, I know you said you and Riley been working. Heck, I feel like I've been putting about 10 hours a day just putting content on there, answering emails, grading homework, and I just had to go out to the school this morning and put paper packets together for students who don't have internet at home. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. And I mean, I'm not just saying it for myself. I hate it for the kids, because they're not getting that same experience this time of the year in school. And that's created a lot of problems just outside of that for them themselves, not just for teachers.
And at St. Pius, we pivoted from a couple times when there were snow days. We did something called an e-learning day, where it was the goal was to give the kids work from each class they would have had that day, but honestly, the kind of work they would have done in the classroom that day, it wasn't the idea to give them like 12 hours of homework per class or anything. We've pivoted a little to a virtual learning environment where we're still trying to get new material out there and have them learn the new material. Is it working? We think so, but it's like what you said, Chris. The teaching, it's a lot more involved, and it's new because you're also having to learn the technical aspects of it. And everybody at our school is familiar with Google Classroom, but there were varying degrees of familiarity with it.
Right.
And then using Meet and Hangouts and things like that, and just trying to teach things that maybe for 15 or 20 or 30 years and 40 years in a couple cases they've been teaching with a whiteboard or a blackboard and a book, so everybody's going virtual. So it's been different. I've seen my daughter as a 7th grader at St. Joseph's School. She's keeping very busy. And it's not just busy work, but it's she's learning some things, but she's sitting down for several hours each day getting that stuff done. You've got kids. How are they doing?
Well, a good thing is, I mean, a lot of schools use Google Classroom, and that's what I use. And so I already emailed all my students, and hopefully they got those. And my 2 kids have been doing well. I mean, my daughter Jillian's still at the Festus District right now, and she gets stuff daily to do. And she had one of those Google Meets yesterday, and went in the back room of our house and made sure she was quiet so she could do her meet. And so their schools are out there trying to get stuff to the kids the best we can. And this is just a new territory for everyone to try to. Right. Luckily, we're 1-to-1 at our high school, so all our kids have a Google Chromebook. So if they have internet access, they can access our stuff that we're putting online. And I'm trying to do just review stuff. We're not introducing new stuff yet. We may change that. I don't know. We got an email today. I haven't got a chance to read it, but it should tell us what more we're going to do from here on out.
Right. And how about you've got, what, 4?
Yeah, I got 4 kids. 2 of them are at down at St. Rose down in DeSoto. I mean, they're working every day. I think they start at 9 o'clock and they go till 3 every day. Doing some kind of e-learning of some sort, and then the 2 girls go to one goes to Peevely there, and one goes to St. Thomas at the middle school. And I mean, they're sending stuff out to them every day. Every teacher's sending stuff out to them every day. So they're on a structured plan where they're trying to do things 4 or 5 hours of the day, try to do all that, and then on top of it, our school district's providing lunches to a lot of kids, students. The buses are coming out and dropping off lunches at bus stops, so which is an awesome thing. I mean, I love what our school's doing and putting forth that effort and that time, and a lot of volunteers that are putting some effort into it. So, I mean, I know this is uncharted territory for a lot of us, but I think our kids are getting a lot out of this, regardless of not being in the classroom every day. I think they're getting a lot out of this, and maybe it's something that some change a little bit different maybe can help some of them. So
yeah, I'll have to add with that, Riley's talking about the Dunklin district's been serving the kids food the whole entire time, and I know a lot of other districts. Erica Hankins works at Kingston. I saw her on a bus today on one of her social media outlets, and so a lot of these schools are doing what they can to help these students, and that's what's most important.
And you're seeing some of these the parades that the teachers do through neighborhoods where they got a whole bunch of kids. That's a neat thing for them to see. And what we've been trying to engage our students in social media on more of a fun side, but we've asked questions like, what do you miss most about school, and what you see in those answers, and there's differing degrees of seriousness with it, but the structure of school is something that I don't think they always appreciate until they actually don't have it there anymore. Jason, you and I have had a conversation, and Chris and I know some kids, and all of us know some kids, that the structure that school provides is a lot of times the best structure they've got.
Right.
So for them not to have that, hurts, but for us to be able to do what we can electronically, I guess, doing what we can to try to help these kids out.
Yeah, and I mean, and just there is no playbook for this. There's nothing that's ever been out there that we've seen in our lifetimes that can even match that. So I think it, like Riley said, I think it's going to really, I think kids can get something out of it. They can see, and I think everybody is trying to pull their weight. I know Grandview's taking food to kids because we have a lot of kids who their parents rely on the school because they the free and reduced lunch. So yeah, I think it's something that's really beneficial. I think it's drawing a lot of communities together, and a lot of families are having to be together a lot more too. And I do know that I think probably my favorite thing about this is I get to see all these great memes because the internet always wins. Because I don't know how many times I've had people say they've already want to suspend their kids, and they're the ones doing the homeschooling. So
yeah, teachers should be making a lot more money from what I've seen.
Maybe when this is all over, we make some more money.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
I was a big fan of all of those. I've seen those out there.
I've been trying to save some of them so we can go back in our mind later on down the road whenever I'm the worst teacher in America.
Right. So. I saw one that a mom said, whatever y'all are making, it should be about $1 billion a week or a month at least. So, my daughter in the Common Core math, she's learning a lot about carrying the 9 right now, and we're getting to the right answer, but we're not doing it in the right direction apparently. So, and just to be clear to the audience, this is probably the worst collection of 4 educators you should hear from as far as how this is working for everybody. But it's I know for me, having come from a different environment, the college environment for 20 years, working around the high school students has been really satisfying and great to see their growth and development. And none of us are in this because the money's just excellent, right? We do it because it's a chance to help these young people out and be involved with that and see their growth and development. So not seeing it in person kind of hurts, and it's going to be really tough because I think for some seniors at least, I don't think we're going to see graduation. We've made no decision about that at St. Pius. I know Herculaneum nobody has because we don't know how much further this thing's going to go. But we might be losing out on things like the baccalaureate, and we might be losing out on prom, the graduation party, and for a lot of people, that rite of passage is such an important part of their life. So it's going to be a really rough time here, I think, for a lot of folks. But we'll do what we can to help them out.
Absolutely.
So from an athletic standpoint, so let's pivot to something that you guys kind of know about. I don't know anything. Well, what you guys know about, you're missing out on a spring season. Right now, and so what were the hopes for track and field at Herky this year?
I think we had more numbers out this year than we've had in the past 4 or 5 years. I had some really good athletes put together there, and I was looking forward to this season. I think we had a good shot to possibly win a district championship at track and field and have an opportunity maybe to possibly win a sectional too. So, it's terrible for some of those seniors. I mean, some very quality kids that have had some really good success. Or one kid coming back that maybe didn't get to participate last year because of an injury, was a senior this year. We're looking forward to having some big success, and then kind of that's taken away from them a little bit. And so I think a lot of that boils down to. But I mean, a lot of our kids are just doing a lot of stuff on their own, which I'm really excited about seeing them take some initiative to do some things in their own eyes, in their own ways of how they're doing it to stay active and to stay on top of it, just in case we have an opportunity to come back. They're not 4 or 5 weeks behind. They're still continuing to do with it. So
and MSHA, Missouri State High School Athletic Association, our athletic director Tilden Watson, I'm sure your athletic directors, everybody's has been keeping in touch and seeing what they're saying. And the concern is for the spring sports, there was hardly any time to start a practice before this whole thing started and everybody was out of school. And MSHA at this point doesn't seem like they're overly inclined to have competition start without those 14 days of practice. And certainly there's a logic to that, reduce the chance of injury and whatnot. So just depending on when this whole thing stops, we may or may not have any sort of a season whatsoever. Now for Coach Miller and Coach Jarvis with basketball programs, your seasons were over, but still this was a time maybe some of your youngsters that were returning next year, they're losing some valuable weight room time, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I do the weight room like you were talking about in the spring, and last year we do weights for an hour, and then I had probably 10 kids that were up in the gym afterwards getting shots up, and I kind of was looking forward to that here in the spring, and now kind of our hands are tied, and I feel bad as Blair was talking about the spring sports guys. one you all know of very well, Jordan Duncan. He's not having a senior baseball season right now, and all those seniors. Greg Rose is another one at Herky, and it's pretty sad times for us right now when it comes to sports. Hopefully they'll figure something out. Hopefully this stuff will get cleared up and they can actually do something.
Yeah, and Chris, your basketball team, you're losing. I haven't looked at the exact numbers. You got to be losing 90% of your scoring, your rebounding, and your assists. That'll help you sleep tonight.
Yeah, it hasn't been anything I've thought about.
That's good to hear.
So, but yeah, and you've got an awesome wellness center there at St. Pius that got opened, and about 5 days later, it's shut down. It's hardly been used at all. And that's where you're going to find some of your players next year, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that was the thing. I mean, I was really excited about and say, hey, we're getting the wellness center built, and now it's just kind of sitting empty. So I'm kind of looking forward to some of these guys who we'd had some talks during the year about them stepping up, hitting the weight room, and really putting the work in, and now they can't because they can't get in there. So I hope that they're doing a lot more on their own at home. And just see what happens. I mean, I don't want to get too far out and thinking the worst or, being overly optimistic. But, I think the biggest thing for me on the spring sports part, I don't even look at the basketball part. I look at the kids who are almost, we know kids who've signed. I know Jordan's signed in college for the next level. What about these kids who are kind of on the brink where they could have if they had a good, senior year? Now they're not getting those looks. Now they're having to do walk-ons, and I don't know how that's going to play out moving forward if they haven't gotten signed. Whether it's for baseball or track and field at the next level. What happens with those kids? I mean, what opportunities are they missing out on?
Well, some of those colleges are expecting to see some of those times, especially in track, and then they're basing whether they're going to give them that scholarship or not. And there's kids right there on the edge. They need to get a certain time and something, and now that's all up in the air. So I kind of feel bad for those kids, and hopefully something will get figured out.
Well, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that I see with our high school sports right now is that uncertainty is. I mean, obviously the NCAA can say, well, yeah, we'll go ahead and grant you another year of eligibility. Well, we can't have kids who are 19 years old, 20 years old now playing another year of sport because they're trying to get to the next level. It's just not something we can do. So what happens now for high schools? What do we do now?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit more. But first, we're going to take a brief commercial break. I'm going to kick it back over to our host and founder, Ray Halbrook. Ray, you're up.
I'll just say we'll be right back.
Outstanding.
There we go. We'll be right back, folks.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all sports.
That.
I have a lot of friends that are head basketball coaches, and I've been of course around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, well, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key. And we're back here. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we want to tell you about some of our sponsors for tonight's show. If I can get to them here. I'm a little frozen here for a second. What is going on here? One of our sponsors here, Main and Mill Brewing Company. Curbside or delivery, lunch, dinner, daily specials, cans, bottles, and gift cards. Their hours right now look like this. They are open 11 to 8 every day right now. Fried chicken to go, $10, 3 pieces, 2 sides, and a roll. Can't beat that for $10. So check them out at the Main and Mill Brewing Company, 636-543-3031. The Brick Bistro online, curbside delivery service. Give them a call, 636-638-2000, or on the web at thebrickbistroandbrew.com. Their hours are like this. They have changed this week. Same as last week, though. 12 to 5 on Sunday, 12 to 7 on Monday. Tuesday through Thursday, they're closed. Friday, 12 to 7. Saturday, 12 to 7 as well, and that's the Brick Bistro. Don't forget to check out their Pig Wing Saturdays and their daily specials. Bethesda General Baptist Church, give them a call at 636-464-7400, located at 910 Craig Road in Imperial. The church is the people who continue to meet the needs and the minister during this time. Bethesda honored to be a sponsor here of us here at the Coach's Box. So give them a call, 636-464-7400. And our last sponsor, we appreciate these folks over at Vindell Services LLC and Bada Bing's Classics. Vindell Services, automotive repair, collision, and classic car restoration shop. 15% discount on any repair with free pickup delivery on your car. Located at 301 South Adams Street in Festus. Give them a call, 636-638-2000. If you mention Livestream STL, they're going to throw in a free disinfectant on your car. So if you go to have your car worked on, they're going to disinfect it also as well. So, guys, I'm going to open up your mics here again real quick. And, we appreciate the folks that are giving into this. We want to continue to have our businesses highlighted along with these during these shows and whatnot. So, guys, take it away for our next segment.
All right, so we're back. Segment 2 is a continuation of segment 1. We were just talking about the impact of the high school closures on the college athletes and the potential for some of our athletes to move on. Now, Chris Miller, you and I are lucky enough that one of our young men was able to get a letter of intent signed, and Eli Boyer, who's graduating this year, is going to be playing up at St. Ambrose this year, and he got that in kind of under the wire there, didn't he?
Yeah, I know Eli's been in conversation with. He was in conversation with St. Ambrose and several other schools, and as this was all happening, it was just kind of like, God, I hope this all kind of works out. But they really wanted him. They liked him, and he had to make a tough decision because I know there's a couple of them that he really wanted to. He was really interested in. So I'm just happy he got it, and I know he's going to do a fantastic job. He's really grown as a basketball player, and just. I'm so proud of him for the work he's put in, but you're right. It was just under the wire because now he could have fallen into some of these other with the other kids who didn't necessarily get something done soon enough where they could have had an open gym or they could have had some kind of tryout or something for them to be invited to, and he was able to do it.
Yeah, and we've got I won't get into names since they haven't signed yet, but we've got 3 more student athletes in various sports at Pius, and I would imagine Herky's got some of the same thing like Crystal City and everybody else. We got a few young people that we're trying to finalize some visits and go down, talk to some coaches, check out some facilities, and decide what was going to be the best fit for them. All of that's on hold because and I'm the college counselor at Pius, so I've been working with them quite a bit on this, and the colleges for the most part have said we can't host any visits at all, and they're talking about until June.
Right.
And there's only so much you can get out of looking at a school on niche.com or Facebook or going to their website and things like that. You got to be there on a campus, right? When you went to Central Methodist, you probably knew, right? At some point when you visited, you just kind of knew.
I visited a few colleges, but when I visited Central, I told my parents, I said, that's where I want to go. And it was the atmosphere, and you get to see the college right there, get to see the kids in their dorm room, get that tour and see what it really is to be a college student there. And once I went there, I just quit going to visits and figured it out.
We've all been around. You guys have been doing this long enough. All of us have been around student athletes or students in general that have gone on a visit and they come back and they're really excited to tell us, like, I think I found it. And it's cool to see, right? When this is the place for me. Right now, they don't have that opportunity because they just can't get to those schools. So we're hoping that those things will be able to get worked out. Some of them are just in our experience at Pius. A few of them are saying, I'm going to try here because this is right up until everything shut down. This was the leading candidate, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. So Riley Nager had signed it a while ago with Drury, and then Eli signs with St. Ambrose. both those young men, they have a number of things in common. One of them is how much time they were putting in the work in the off season.
Yeah.
Eli Boyer and his dad Dan, I was talking to them towards the end of the season, and Eli had said he was going to be changing up his weight training routine the day after the basketball season ended. And I don't know if any kid worked harder than Riley Nager for the 4 years he was there and the time he put into the weight room. So that's, again, getting back to that weight room thing, it's kind of hurting these kids, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, there were several kids who I had conversations with at the season saying, you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to put some time in there. You didn't put enough time in. You could see the difference in how much they were getting a chance to play and the, JV. And we're going to have a bunch of kids who were sophomores are now going to be juniors. And if they want to play, they're going to have to put that time in. So, you say that, and then all of a sudden, poof, you can't come to the weight room now. So we were getting them in there, and then all of a sudden, I can't do it.
So I would imagine each of you have had this conversation multiple times. A freshman or a sophomore comes in and you're getting to talk to them, and Coach, I want to play in college. What's your response there at that point? How do you help them set expectations?
Well, one of the biggest things we've been trying to turn the weight room program around at Herky, and Coach Hunter, the football team, he's been getting in there, and we're trying to get these kids to realize that it doesn't matter if you play basketball, baseball, football, track. You need to get in the weight room. Some of the things that I've noticed with my team just in basketball, I mean, if you stood Chris's team up and lined my team up next to him, there's a difference. I mean, his kids have been in the weight room. Some of my kids have, but not as many that need to be there. And so that's one of the conversations. Heck, I have it with my own kid. And now where am I going to take my own kid? I don't have weight stuff at my house. Right. So we're having to invent, you need to do some, hey, Dylan, get out there and do some push-ups. Let's get some shots up. He has been getting a lot of shots up, but, it's a hard spot we're in right now with that.
Well, I think the biggest thing is you got to talk to these kids about it, and I think the expectations, they realize that they just think that the ability alone is going to get them there. And, sometimes there's a lot more at stake than just your ability that you have to take into play. And a lot of these kids, when you're having that conversation, hey, I want to play at the next level. Well, what does it all take to play at the next level? I mean, just your ability alone is not going to take you there. You got to be faster, bigger, faster, stronger. I mean, all those things that take into play, your education. I mean, that's number one important in my book. We got to talk about that first before you even talk about your athletic ability. A lot of these colleges are going to that play too. So you really got to focus on that. I think that's what I'm telling those kids. Hey, worry about that classroom first, and if you can take care of that, you're going to go anywhere you want to go, regardless of how athletic you are. So, I mean, we talk about that a lot, and I think that's a lot of the kids are talking about that, And I want to go back to a little bit of what you talked about with these seniors, but more important, maybe some of these juniors that are going into this off season, maybe going to do some stuff this summer, and now it's up in the wind. They're going on these traveling trips and going to these big AAU tournaments or whatever.
This is a big year for Paige Fowler.
Yeah, and so, I mean, and her and I have had a lot of conversations here in the last couple of weeks about that because, this was a big summer for her, kind of getting herself out there in these big exposure tournaments, and so that changes a lot of stuff. So I really worry about how this is going to impact those kids and what their future looks like, and so you got to kind of keep a positive mind to these kids and make them understand that, hey, just because we're not out here doing it, you still got to put the work in. You got to put the time in. I mean, do some things on your own. Like Coach had said, going out and doing push-ups, sit-ups, whatever it takes to make yourself better. You got to put that time in. And so, I've been sending out different drills and stuff, on our Facebook page, our basketball Facebook page, just to try to get kids active, keep them out there, make them understand that it's important.
So, Chris, you've had those conversations. You've had some players, 2 players this year, but you've had players before this that were being recruited in some cases pretty heavily for college. What's that conversation like? Well,
I mean, the first thing I try to tell them, and I mean, you guys know me, I'm a little bit of a realist on some stuff. At first thing I tell kids is, I mean, look, Division I sounds really good. Let's not just say, hey, I want to be the starting point guard at North Carolina. It's kind of hard to get there, okay? You might be, and I've told a couple of kids I've coached in my time, probably why I've been in so many different places. First off, you might be really good here in this conference we play in, but you can be the big fish in a little pond all you want. There's 144 counties in Missouri. So if you're the best player in Jeff County, that's great. There's 144 other county, or 143 other counties that we're dealing with. And the first thing I tell the kids is, listen, it's all about the grades, like you said. If you make the grades, you're going to have that opportunity, and get those first. You said it and hit the nail on the head. And make sure that you have the ACT score. Make sure you have the GPA. Do everything you can on that point. And all these lower level, D2, NAI, they're gonna want you to play. And that might not mean that you're going to be the starting guard or the starting forward for that team. But you get a chance to get there, have an opportunity to play in college, which is something I didn't get to do, and it's hard to play at the next level. It just is. So first and foremost, because a lot of kids don't do the grades part. I've had kids who have been more talented who didn't play at the next level than kids who were less talented but they had the grades and they went on to do it. So I mean, it's hard to have that conversation with kids because they all want to shoot for the moon, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, but know how good you're going to be. And the first thing I do tell them is the college coaches that I've talked to, they want to know about the grades. Then they want to know about the weight room. And it's the very next thing they ask me, what do they like in the weight room? Do they play other sports? They don't ask about anything else. That's the things they go to right there. And if I say, well, he works hard in the weight room and he looks about this big around, they're going to say, yeah, it's great. And, well, you're full of crap. We're never going to call you again.
Yeah, your credibility is shot.
That's why I told all the kids that want to go play at the next level who talk to me, I'm not going to lie for you. Because as soon as you showcase what you are, they're going to call. They're not going to call anymore. So I have to be honest with them because they're going to be honest with you and tell you if you can play here or not. Plain and simple.
Yeah, there's a balance, right? We have an obligation to help these kids, but at the same time, they've got to help themselves.
Oh, yeah.
My first year, 2 years ago, I got a call about a player, and I won't say which sport or anything else, but coach that I've known for several years, and the first question was, how are the grades? And the grades are okay. Grades weren't spectacular, but the grades are okay. Does that player work hard? And I had to give the honest answer was not hard enough. Conversation was over. We were done at that point. And I never did share that with that player. I intimated a couple times with that person, like, there's potential here, but you're not really doing anything to exercise it. Tilden Watson, who we all know, the athletic director down at Pius, assistant football coach, I saw him have an interaction with a young man, came in talking about wanting to play college football. And Tilden has this theory of the fours, is what he calls it. He says, well, on a scale of 1 to 25, how hard do you work in a game? And kid, well, 25, of course. How hard do you work in practice? 20, between 20 and 25. It's like, okay. How much time do you put in the weight room? And Tilden had never seen that kid in the weight room. He's like, well, I guess I could do better, maybe a 5 or 10. He's like, how good do you eat? And the kid looks down because I've seen him in the McDonald's drive-thru, which is an indictment of me as much as anything. But I've seen him and his mama in the McDonald's. He's like, 5 or 10. He's like, okay, so out of 100 right there, we're somewhere in the 60s. You got to be at 100 to be able to get to that level. And Tilden and I talked about we've added a 5th component, so it's 5 groups of 20. Where are you academically? And Tilden, I don't want it to sound like he doesn't care about that because that's probably what he cares about more than anything else. Is academically. He's the one that's put in the really stringent requirements as far as the grades and what kids have to do in order to play and stuff. But it's just like you guys were saying, if they're not putting that time in, especially at this level, at the Division II level, at the NAIA level, nobody's getting a full ride academically, right? That you might be getting some academic and athletic money that combined with maybe some need-based money, suddenly tuition's taken care of, maybe some housing and things like that. I've seen that over and over and over again. And Tilden, it makes a great point with all these young kids that come in and talk to them about the athletic scholarship and the importance of getting that. For every dollar of athletic scholarship in the United States, there's $4 in academic money. So where's the importance need to be? Where do you need to put the priorities? And that's something that we really stress. I know you guys really stress it, and everybody talks about it with their kids. If you can get that academic money, then the athletic money goes much easier. And plus, a coach is going to look at it as like, okay, so he does his work in the classroom. He's probably going to do his work out on the field for us as well.
Well, and just to kind of talk about what we're dealing with now with all this, COVID-19, the kids who are doing their work and the kids who are, making themselves stronger by going and doing push-ups or finding the biggest rock to carry in their yard and moving it and stuff. And trust me, that's a workout from down in Annapolis, is just moving this big rock as many times as you can before you just wear yourself out. Another story for another time. But, those kids showing that initiative is going to go a long way, too, whenever all this is over, that, hey, I put in the work. I'm even stronger now, Coach, than what I was before. I haven't quit. I'm not taking days off. I'm not eating Cheetos and playing Call of Duty. I'm ready to work, and I'm going to show whoever I got to show. So make some calls for me to bring them in here. I want to do a tryout. I'll go wherever I got to go. If I see that, I pick up the phone and a college coach wants to talk to me, I mean, it sells itself at this point. So hopefully we got kids out there really doing that. You don't know because we don't know what they're all doing. But at the same time, that would be a positive to take away from it if I was a kid who's really trying to play at the next level.
Right.
Well, one of the things I liked that you mentioned too was they don't realize. I played college football. You don't realize until you get there that you're everyone there was all conference.
Yeah.
Everyone there was all district. Heck, there's all staters. There's, there's blue chips. You get there and you're like, oh man, I'm not the man no more. I'm going to have to work at this. And that's something you're going to learn real quick once you get on that campus, is that you can't wait until you show up on that campus. You got to go, and you got to get it now, because you might be the best player at Herky or at Pius or at Grandview or wherever in the county, but you get out of this county and you go to a different state or even to a different area and go to play even a small school like Central Methodist, as he brought up, at NAIA school. I mean, there's some good players at those places.
Right. Yeah.
There's kids that couldn't make it Division I and end up in an NAIA, and those are who you're competing for. So you really got to work at it.
And I've had some kids say, "Well, I'll go to Mac, or I'll go to Three Rivers,
Well,
or
look
I'll
at
go
Mac.
You're not going to go to
I
Mac.
just start laughing. And I'm like, again, that's probably why I've been so many places. I just start laughing a little bit, and I say, yeah. Well, first off, they're getting the kids from D1 who couldn't make the grades. So now you're going to try to compete against those kids. You got a better chance of going maybe to these other schools. But I mean, look, and there's nothing wrong with having those dreams and things, but I just try to be as realistic with them as I can, and there is those opportunities out there. But and that was my point, was don't think because I'm the biggest fish here that I'm there. I've arrived. You haven't, because if you get to the next level, there's a whole bunch of people waiting there for you that are at that same point too, or much better.
Well, and some of these kids' expectations, they go to college and they expect to play as a freshman. And, that's not going to happen, guys. And I've seen it. I'm in a couple districts myself, Mr. Miller, and I've seen it. I mean, kids think they're going to go. I mean, you were talking about the phone call that you had, and you had to tell a coach. I had a Central Methodist coach call me about a kid that I coached at a previous school other than Herky, and they said, hey, what do you think of this kid? What's his academics? And I had to be honest. Like, his academics are terrible. He's a heck of a football player, but I don't know about his academics. And he went up there, and he came back about, 3 months in. So, it's hard as a coach. You want your kids to succeed, but you got to be truthful too. You can't just go, hey, and he's been the hardest worker I have if he's not.
Right. I think the biggest thing that you have to take into play is, these kids got to take accountability. And sometimes they got to look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, am I doing what it's taken to get to that next level? And it takes consistency. I mean, I preach that to our kids all the time. I talk about it. That's a big word for me that I use to our kids. Hey, we got to be consistent, and with everything you do. I mean, hard work. I mean, in the classroom, you got to be consistent with how you're performing in the classroom, and then even out of the classroom, out on the streets. Are you consistent with how you act? I mean, are you getting in trouble? Are you doing some things that people don't want to see or whatever? So, consistency, I think, is a key component. If you want to play at the next level, people are going to be watching those things. How you react on social media. I mean, what you say, what you perform, what you like on social media can completely affect how you get looks at from the next level.
We've seen professional guys get stuff to come back when they were 16 years old.
Yep. Right.
And then all of a sudden it's out in front of the whole media, and they're like, I was 16 years old,
You
but
guys
it's
just
still
opened up
coming
way
back.
too big of a box right there. I'm just saying.
Well, I see it as the college counselor, right? And I've told students before, I was like, well, what email address do you want something sent to? And it's something stupid like, I heart Dolphins 60. I'm like, okay, how about just your first name and your last name with a dot in the middle or something like that? Or how's your social media? And they turn various shades of red. And we have one senior. She's one of the top 2 or 3 kids in her class. Actually got a full tuition scholarship to Columbia College. And she, as soon as I asked her about her social media, she's like, "Oh, I don't have any." It's like I decided a long time ago, no Facebook, no Instagram, no anything. And she has no digital exhaust, is the terminology I've been hearing out there at all. There's nothing you're going to find, which is actually a tremendous way of looking at it. So one of the conversations I'll have with students is somebody will want to play, and maybe their academics are here and their athletics are here, and they can play at some schools, but they're not going to be able to do maybe what they want to do academically. Maybe they're looking at an elite type school for academics, and then you have to make a choice at that point. How important is it for you to play? And for my experience, so I'm 48, right? I've seen enough. It's very rare for me to hear somebody say, yeah, I really wish I wouldn't have played college sports. For everybody I've heard say that, I've probably heard 15 or 20 say, I really wish I would have stuck with it. There's something that comes from being part of a team and being part of a program and driving yourself to do that nothing can ever be taken away from you when you do that. But it's something that they have to figure out early on, how important it is to them.
And they just don't understand the level. A lot of these kids don't understand the level it is at a college program. And even at an NAIA, it was a full-time job. I mean, and I'm not bragging on myself, but, I mean, it's something that you really have to put your mind to doing. And I'm glad I did it. And I had 2 older brothers that pushed me because they wished they would have stuck it out, and they're like, you're not gonna not go, you're going. And it was the greatest thing I did, probably, and that's where I got a lot of my drive for when it comes to coaching is from that experience.
Well, I think, Riley, you hit it on the head when you said accountability, because I think instead of it just being your parents or your coaches have to be the toughest, you have to be the toughest critic on yourself.
Right.
So I mean, so that way you don't have to worry about someone else driving you forward all the time. I drive myself, and I think that goes a heck of a long way, especially because how much work it takes and how much dedication you have to put into it.
And that gets back to Nager, Riley Nager, who got himself that huge scholarship. He's got everything taken care of down at Drury. I saw him in the gym in the summer with Anthony Lawrence for my first couple of years there. And then he was putting in all the time before your season started. He'd be lifting weights before practice or after practice. He worked his tail off to get to this point. And that was something that when a coach would call and say, what can you tell us about this kid? Like, nobody's going to outwork him. He eats right. He's smart about that. And nutrition is one of the things that kind of gets lost in there. Tilden will see somebody walking into the weight room and they've got a bag of McDonald's they're throwing away in the trash can on the way in. He's like, there's nothing they can do in this weight room is going to make up for what they just ate. For the record, I'm not slagging on McDonald's in particular. It's just fast food in general is just one of those things that they don't recommend you do.
It's funny you bring that up about Riley, and you guys were talking about Eli too, and my daughter plays with a team that's predominantly pious kids in basketball, and I would come into that gym and there's Eli Boyer probably shooting his 1,000th shot of the day in the summer, and that kid put in the time. I tell my son all the time, hey, Dylan, you want why Eli Boyer makes those shots? Because I saw him. Every time I'd go pick up Jill at Pius, almost every time he was there.
Yep.
And that's what it takes. I mean, some people, may think, oh, this kid can't go here or can't do that. I saw that kid work, and I know Riley worked. He was not as big and thick as he is now when he was a freshman, and it showed on the court.
When you as a coach, you don't have to worry about wondering if your kids are out there doing it. I mean, I was just blessed to have the opportunity to coach kids like Riley and Eli and Josh and Kate. I know they all put in work, and the rest of those kids. That makes my job a lot easier. And the same thing's going to be for the college coaches at the next level. Right. They don't want to have to worry about, is this kid working hard? They just know it because that's the kid they recruit. Exactly. They don't recruit the kids. They have to sit there and kick in the butt and get them off the couch to do things.
Or that takes into consideration that it's that one time they say it. Hey, you ain't playing to the expectation of my, where I recruited you at.
Yeah.
It's one time, and then that takes care of it from there. So
hey, we're going to take a brief break. We're going to be back here in just a couple minutes. You're listening and watching the Coach's Box.
Yeah, Rand, I'll say real quick, I really admire what you guys do with this. I think everybody who's ever tuned into one of these, whether it's a Legion game, whether it's a high school baseball game, with basketball, football, whatever it is, I've heard nothing but tremendous feedback about Livestream STL and what you guys do and the quality of production, things like that. I would really encourage anybody who's involved in athletics throughout the county, really anywhere in the metro area, anybody who's interested in sponsoring activities to get on board and get involved with this. I think it's added a ton to what we do here. It's added a ton to the program. You guys are a class act, and you're committed to doing things the right way, and we really appreciate that.
This Livestream STL has been a huge asset for Jefferson County sports, in my opinion. I mean, getting these athletes the camaraderie that they're out there and people can see them. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a call from a coach yesterday about one of my athletes that said that they saw some of her games on Livestream STL.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that right there instilled to me that this is important. This is important for those kids. And so, I think it's great, and I wish you guys the best. And if you're out there and you want to sponsor, this is a great opportunity for kids to support kids of our local kids and get them support and get them acknowledgement out there, because we have a lot of great athletes in this county.
We appreciate that. And at the end of the day, our mission is much the same as your missions, coaches, to help shine a light on these kids and get them exposure and get their name out there and help them. And if they can advance, they're better off, we're better off as a community, and that's why we're here.
All right, we are back here, and wanted to give some shout-outs to some of our sponsors today. The Main & Mill Brewing Company. Give them a call, 636-543-3031. Curbside or delivery. Cans, bottles, gift cards, lunch, dinner, daily specials. They've got that fried chicken to go for $10. 3 pieces, 2 sides, and a roll, $10. You can't beat that, boys. And just better turn everybody on here real quick. Unmute here. You guys got anything you want to say about the Main & Mill Brewing Company real quick?
Well, their fried chicken is amazing. I can tell you that. I've had it multiple times. When they were open for inside the service, I mean, on Sundays afternoons, boy, all you can eat fried chicken was some of the best.
For some reason, that doesn't surprise me that Blair has had their fried chicken. I have not, but I have ate there several times, and it's one of my places to go to. There's some good people that work there too, and they really take care of you when you're there. So
good stuff.
Yeah, good happy hour there.
Yep. Awesome. Give them a call, 636-543-3031. The Brick Bistro online, curbside delivery. Give them a call, 636-638-2000 or thebrickbistroandbrew.com. Hey, guys, have you ever had their pig wings?
No, but you keep talking about them. I'm going to have to try them.
Pig wings.
I've had their wings, but not their pig wings.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, there you go.
I'm kind of curious
I know.
now.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, do we have a description of a pig wing?
Well, it's no, because I haven't had it myself. So I'll tell you, the thing about it is they do these only on Saturday. They only make up so many, and they always sell out. I've heard that.
So only on Saturday.
Only on Saturday, Pig Wing Saturdays, and they got great specials there. I love their pizza. They got really good pizza.
Yeah, their pizza's really good. Oh, Justin Vaughn will take care of you down there.
Absolutely.
One of my ex-students at Crystal City.
There you go. Awesome. Give them a call, 636-638-2000.
One of your
Brick
several
Beast.
stops.
Hey. District number 7, and I hope it's my last.
Give them an email there, or give them online at thebrickbistroandbrew.com also. Bethesda General Baptist Church. Now, you want to ask why is Bethesda Baptist Church on here? We know a player that was nominated into our Main Street Sports Standouts, and the person was Reagan Daly. And Reagan's dad is pastor over here at Bethesda. Loved what we were doing and came up with this great idea. He said, "Hey, why don't you put like a highlight reel together?" And so we traded some sponsorship for doing that and everything. And he did a really good job of helping us and actually opened up a small little stream of revenue for us for a couple of days, which was kind of cool. So we did some highlights for everybody, and everybody that was interested interested. So if you're still interested in doing a highlight, we can still do that for you. So give them a call, 636-464-7400. The building where Bethesda Baptist Church is at 1910 Craig Road in Imperial, but the church is the people who continue to meet needs and minister during this time. Bethesda's honored to sponsor the show tonight. We appreciate having them on. Our final sponsor here is Vindell Services and Bada Bing Classics. Have you guys ever seen Vinny Lombardo? You guys know who Vinny Lombardo is, guys?
Was he on The Sopranos?
No, but he looks
Are
like
you sure?
he looks like he knows he could be part of The Sopranos.
All right.
I'll say that. Great guy. We did a small little blip when we were out and about a couple of weeks ago, and he's a couple of blocks from Main Street. I guess if you went south. And so a couple blocks from Main, not Mill, but the next street up. I don't even know where that is, but great guy here. Adams, South Adams. It's a 301 South Adams. That's why I'm looking at the address right here in front of my face. but he just a great guy. I mean, they're doing some really cool stuff over there. They have the Bada Bing Classics where they do the classic restoration, but they also do the services here, and we'll tell you a little bit about the services right now. Collision, classic car restoration, automotive repair, 15% discount on any repair with a free pickup and delivery on your car. Who does that anymore?
Oh, I don't know.
Who comes and picks up? Not very many people.
In these parts, if they come to pick up your car, that's probably the last time you're going to see it.
Exactly, right?
Say this is off of South Adams.
South Adams, yeah. So like couple
behind
of blocks.
Main Street.
Yep, behind Main Street.
I bet it was the old Bob Tamure place.
You
over
might be
there,
right.
yep.
You might be right. I know it's over there, not very far from I guess where Douglas School was, right? Douglas School's not too far over there.
Yeah.
Where it used to
be. The 8-foot goals we used to call them.
Yeah,
We used to
right
play
on.
at all. It's
Right
right
on.
down from them. Yep.
be. Right on. So give them a call, 636-638-2500. And again, if you mention Livestream STL, they're going to clean the inside of your car too, sanitize it and everything also. So they pick it up, they fix your car, they clean it, sanitize it, and bring it back to you. How about that? Nobody does that anymore. 636-638-2500. Give them a call. And we are going to jump right back in here to our final segment of the Coach's Box. Matt Schutte.
All right, we're going to talk about a couple of things. One thing we talked about a little bit at the break was let's work off of this assumption. Let's work off the assumption that we're not going to be able to host high school camps this summer. That worst-case scenario, but a week of camp is important for you and your kids, getting them in there, as well as getting the youngsters in there. I'm sure it's important for you guys as well. As basketball coaches, if a player came up to you and said, "Coach, what can I do to get better this summer? I'll have time to really dedicate myself to the weight room, or I'll have time to play some traveling basketball." Which would you recommend? Club ball for the summer ball, AAU circuit type stuff, or whatever they can get into, or would you say the weight room, or a combination, or?
Wow, that's a real tough
man,
one.
that's a tough question for us three, I believe. But man, I want the ball in their hands. But I want them in the weight room, too. One of the things we've struggled with is our strength, I think, at times. We've gotten pushed around a little bit. And, man, I don't know, Miller, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think I'm like you. I like the ball in their hands. But if they're playing for an AAU team, you want to make sure that they're playing for a good one. I mean, it's not just about running some kids out and it's somebody's dad coaching. And, I mean, I've seen kids be a part of that. I've experienced it when I was younger, but if it's quality, that's fine. I mean, I like the ball in their hands, but I think that you have to take that time in the summer to get stronger, because that's also going to benefit you. Because I tell my kids I want them to play multiple sports.
Right.
They need to. They need that. I mean, because a lot of college coaches have talked to me. What other sports do they play?
That's going back to that college question you were asking earlier, and none of us really brought it up, but playing multiple sports is a big thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, especially we promote that as much as we can at Herky in the small school district we are. We got to have those kids playing more than one sport. I mean, Austin Houston, people look at him and say, man, that's a football player playing basketball. But he had a niche for us. He would come in and give us grit and would do some things that kids weren't willing to do. He may not have been the greatest basketball player in the world, but, man, he would bust his butt to get a rebound. I would put him on some of the other team's best players to defend them. And we need all those kids playing all sports, not just focusing on one.
I mean, so that's why I think that not necessarily, because it's hard to spread that time between, if there's going to be a ball in their hands only, I'm going to be a little selfish and say I want to play a little more basketball. But if it's a weight room, that's going to benefit them as the athlete, the overall athlete, more than it's just going to be, hey, just go play basketball, or hey, play AAU, and you don't know what you're getting there. If I know that if they're lifting and they're making their body better, at least I know for a fact. I can see the difference between the last time I saw them and the first day I get to see them again. I can tell if they've been doing those things. Yeah. If they've been playing, I've been playing a lot of AAU. I'm scoring 20 points a game, coach. Okay. And then, I don't see that whenever they get in open gym for the first time.
Well, I think that, I'm taking it for a position of the weight room. I think the weight room is important, but you can spend 30 minutes in the weight room and do a lot of work in 30 minutes.
That's true.
I've seen it in our school. You take 30 minutes of those kids' time and put them in the weight room. It's important, and I think they get a lot out of it in 30 minutes. Some of those kids go in there and they spend 4 or 5 hours and don't get hardly anything done because they're gabbing or on their phones or doing whatever. So I think if you can utilize both, I think you take 30 minutes of solid work in the weight room, of uninterrupted work for 30 minutes, I think you're going to make yourself a better athlete all around. So I think that most athletes should be able to do both. I mean, if you really want to, you go to the college level, like we talked about earlier. You got the academics you got to worry about. You got to be making those grades, but you got to be in the weight room as a college athlete as well. You've got to be at practices or whatever they on the off-season stuff that they have. So, it puts a lot together. So you've got to be able to buy your time and figure that out. And I think that's important. So I think both of them are really important. But I think you can take a solid 30 minutes every day and be in the weight room. I think you're going to see the rewards of it.
It just depends on, like you said, what you're doing in that amount of time. And the summer for me for basketball has always been – I can get a lot of reps shooting. I can work on parts of my game, or anytime I've had kids that I've worked with, that's a lot about what it is. Especially if it's individual, it's like, what can we fix on your game from this year to the next, and take advantage of it, because they say it takes 21 days to break a bad habit. So I need to spend 20 days after this not drinking Pepsi, but to get them to maybe not do certain things. There, by the way. It's good. Sweet nectar of the gods, Zach McVeigh. So one of the things that you try to do is you try to get their footwork right, or you try to fix something on their shooting form, and you try to really work on those things. Maybe something to do with ball handling and some new moves or whatever, but that's the sort of thing that I like to spend time. And if you have a kid who's trying to get some college exposure, if they're playing for a quality AAU program, then, to me, it's a time of your life you don't have a lot of. And I think this point in time where we're having kids whose futures are uncertain, when kids say, well, Coach, it's my summertime and I don't want to spend time in my summer, I want to have my summer, I think this should put things in perspective that you might not have that opportunity tomorrow to do things that you need to be doing today. So I would be one of the reasons we played sports where I'm from is we got out farm work and doing stuff like that. I got my whole life ahead of me. Right. I want to do as many things as I can right now, so that way I don't have to work or do those, and it's going to make my future so much better.
And I think that when you talk about the summer program, and I think all three of us probably have a different mindset when it comes to summer stuff. I believe in playing as much as we can in the summertime. Maybe sometimes a lot of coaches will say, hey, we're going to get in the gym, we're going to skill work those 20 contact days that we get. Some coaches are just say, hey, we're going to go up and pick up a basketball up and we're going to play. All 20 contact days we're going to play, pick up games and play each other and just get better with the ball in our hands. So I think that's going to be a kind of a key thing. If you ask a lot of different coaches, I think the impact's going to say, hey, we just want a ball in their hand. We want a ball in their hand where they're being active, doing something to try to make themselves better, not only as a basketball player, but maybe a better athlete, and keeping them out of trouble. Maybe that may be some things we need to talk about a little bit too.
Now, related to that, so go back to that idea that maybe summer camp's not possible this year. We hope it is, but we don't know, and right now it's veering towards maybe not. Right?
I don't even have a summer camp except for my lower levels. My upper levels, we only get 20 days. And so I'm going to have 5 of those days are going to be a league night. And this year, which I was planning on doing, we were going to play in 2 leagues. So that was going to be 10 of my days right there. And then I only have 10 left to work with those kids. So I don't really have like a week of camp, we have open gyms. I'll have half of mine will be open gyms, and the other will be league night. And then we're done. And at about the end of June, I may have a couple days left. We'll do a couple in July, and then they're Coach Hunter's kids. Then it's football time. I might have a few open gyms when school starts once in a while just to get shots up for those kids that are playing football. But my summer, we only have a camp for the small kids, for the junior high kids, and I need to expand that a little more and probably get some elementary kids in there too. But I want them playing games. He was talking about that. I want them out there playing, and I want them playing together. I want them. I'm gonna have. I got 4 kids coming back this year. They're gonna be pretty experienced at the varsity level. Now we lose Duncan, which that's going to be almost impossible
Was
to
he okay?
replace. He was all right.
He's all right.
He was all right.
Yeah, he's okay.
I wish he would have shot a little bit more sometimes, but he was all right.
One of the St. Pius, we feel just god awful about how he's losing a senior of that caliber, don't we?
Hey, I'm feeling terrible about Nager.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Cook,
90%.
Rubel. How many else? What other seniors?
Cook may be the most underrated player in the conference. And I think you're going to end up missing him as much, if not more, than anybody.
He ran that team, that point guard position. People don't understand.
Yeah, he did.
And that kid, I went and scouted Pius, which was a waste of my time because they whooped us both times. But I went and scouted them when they played Brentwood. And that first half, the kid from Brentwood was shut down, and Caden Cook was on him. Right. And so when we went into our game, I thought, oh, he's going to put Caden on Jordan, and then he comes out, puts Nager on Duncan, and Duncan's having to work his butt off to score, and he still scored double digits against them both times, but Nager made him work for every point he got.
I think Jordan was a point of emphasis, if I'm not mistaken.
I couldn't tell by your game plan at all, but I like the kids playing games in the summer.
So when we look at these younger folks coming in, the kids coming in, the 8th graders coming in as freshmen and whatnot, I always like my daughter playing in high school camps because I feel like those coaches, they're running drills and doing things that try to help kids get ready if they want to play that sport in high school. What do you see from kids coming in what fundamental are they most lacking in your sport when they get to you?
Dribbling.
I was going to say ball handling.
Yeah, it's no-brainer.
I tell kids all the time, the easiest way to play for me, I don't care if you score. I don't care if you rebound. If you can run the team and handle the basketball, you're going to have a spot. Yeah. And there's not too many kids that will work at just that part of their game.
Because it's boring. Nobody wants to stand out there and work on dribbling.
Everybody wants to shoot.
Yeah, everybody wants to shoot.
Everybody wants the ball.
Well, you could thank Curry and a bunch of them for that. Three-pointer has become.
Yeah, but as I've told all those kids, if you watch just what Curry does shooting the three, you're missing the boat because his
he gets
routine, dribbling and shooting and all the stuff he works on building up to that, it's incredible. That's the things, but of course, we all see the 3-ball and all this stuff and whatever. But again, it's fun for the kids. It gets them into the game a little bit. But like I said, the finer things, I like for them to be able to be around me, especially the young kids. Mm-hmm. But that's, and again, if we're saying we have to pick one or the other, I can't do that. I want them. Right. I want them in the weight room. I want a ball in their hands. I want them to play games. I think the biggest thing moving forward on this uncertainty, if let's just say hypothetically, I think Jeff Widener maybe asked the question, if things
what if we're shut down
until June or July, then I think Mich has to come back and say, you know what, contact days, we're just going to kind of rip that one up for this year and just say, let the kids play. Let them have that opportunity.
You heard it right here. Chris Miller. I'm getting that right there. Out there.
Hey, he'll send them his phone number, I've heard. So,
do they care about their education? Anyway.
Man.
Anyway, I think, that's a funny joke. I just called that one. But no, I'm serious. I think that if I know Misha puts the 20 days, and when they changed the rule from having just the camps to the contact days where you can do anything in those. It was 25. They backed up to 20 because they want kids to have their summer.
I like 25 better. But
I do like 25 better myself. But I think this is the best time of these kids' lives. Mm-hmm. And if we look at how spring sports have went this year, we are not guaranteed the next, who knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that they really should look at moving forward with what's happened now. Is let's think about this and what we're limiting these kids on. Let them play. Let them play anything they want.
We're all basketball coaches here, but I mean, let's look at the reality. What's going to happen? What's going to happen with football?
Yeah.
What's going to you're talking about if they shut us down until July. I mean, that's the biggest season for football is right. I mean, July is
July
when
1.
stuff starts. And so basketball usually is the month of June.
Right.
So there's so many things that we could talk for 3 hours about what could it look like.
The variables here are just off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
A word we've been hearing a lot, right, is exponential.
Yeah.
There's almost an exponential number of variables. They might figure this thing out 72 hours from now. Now we know the chances of that are
every
almost
day you
none.
open up a Twitter or you open up a news feed or you look on the TV. I mean, it's something different about what is going on with this virus.
Ever changing.
Right. And so with education, it's a scary proposition right now.
It is, and we're all, Ray and I got to know each other through athletics because I was somehow I conned him into letting me call some games with them, and I had a chance to get to know you guys through that. And so we all see things, people would think that we see it through that athletic lens, but it's about that development of the young people. And right now we're hurting for them as well because we just don't know what's going to happen for them. And honestly, all of us, compared to what some people are going through, we're pretty fortunate.
Right.
In that, I'm still getting a paycheck. I'm still working. You're still working. You guys are still working. There's a lot of folks we know that maybe aren't as lucky as that. And I think, Ray, if I'm not mistaken, we're about to wrap up.
Yep.
And I want to wrap up with a poll question.
Okay.
All right, we're going to talk about Doc and Def Leppard and whatnot next time. But what I want to wrap up with now is all of us have friends that work locally and people we can support. Where's a takeout order you can get here in Jefferson County? I'm going to start with 2. Because of this. I had a grilled chicken sandwich and fries from Rich's Frozen Custard because they've expanded their menu a little bit for lunch the other day. It was extraordinary. And my go-to, potato beef, pork fried rice combo over at Lamb's Garden down here in Crystal City.
Right.
So those are a couple options. Jason, what's your go-to?
Oh, man. As you can see, I like to eat, but I ate at Gordon's Stoplight today and got carry out from there. My wife's mad because she wasn't home. She was at work. But Chris Grass down there does a great job. He's a coach over at Crystal High School, and Gordon Stoplight's always a go-to place for us. And I would get in trouble if I didn't mention this, but I've been working a lot at Emos lately, and we deliver pretty far. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
we deliver all over the place. And Mark Percelli down there, he owns Emos here in Festus, and that's another go-to for me. But I've been trying to support a local place at least once or twice a week. Pogolino's. I could go on and on.
Oh, sure.
Main and Mill. I mean, we could go on and on about places I love to get food at.
And even a national place like a Smoothie King's owned locally, run locally.
Well,
so
Coach Kloss, who was my AD when I was at Crystal for 10 years, he's one of the managers over there. Kenny Weich's wife works over there. Smoothie King's not a bad place either.
I'm gonna shout out with 2 of them, and most people, if they know me at all. I mean,
Nobody.
Everybody knew where that was going.
La Pachanga in Herculaneum is my go-to place. We just ordered a delivery. They're delivering right now, and we just ordered my ultimate favorite, the Orioles Campolo.
Nice.
So what a great place to go. And so, feel free to support them. I mean, I'm like I said, a valuable customer for them. But
and they support athletics too.
Oh, yeah.
They support athletics pretty well. I've seen them do fundraisers for Festas and other and other.
They've
places.
done things for us too because they've had some kids come through. The owners have had kids come through St. Pius. So yeah, Lapas is a great local tenant for all of our programs here.
Agreed. And the other one that I got, that I've just now started becoming more of a place to go is Case and Bucks in Barnhart.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but
75-cent wings.
Oh boy, you can't. you can't get anything better than that place. And so I love their wings, and we were just there the other night, and it's a great atmosphere, and they've redone it. So if you haven't been there, step in there and
really nice.
take a look at it when we get back into it, because it's a really nice place.
Well, I mean, I was going to go to Gordon's here after we left, and I was going to. My shout out was to Case and Bucks, and I knew Gordon's was going to, that they've been doing that. So, but and Lapas obviously is a great place. I think me and you've spent some time there, after some basketball games.
Yeah.
But it's support everybody local, because that's what it's going to take to get through all this.
Yep.
And I mean we're all in this together. I know it's a big cliche, but we really are.
Yep. My favorite is the Brick Bistro. I love the Brick out there. Love Justin and all those guys. There used to be a place there. It's not there anymore, and that was a pretty good second there. Shelley's closed up, but now there's a deli there, and Twin City Deli. You guys haven't checked it out. Twin City Deli is a good place to go to.
They just
Ray,
catered
I
something
saw
for us.
the thing you did. You went down Main Street. That was awesome.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yep. We still need a road trip down to Lesterville.
I agree.
You and I
agree.
So
I'm sure the
long
Lesterville
story.
folks would love that.
It's my old neck of the woods.
Well, we caught a Lesterville game. We're at the Grandview tournament a year and a half ago, and they blew somebody out of the water. I don't remember who it was, but we got the Lesterville fans chatting with us quite a bit online. That was
they were telling us where to come eat and everything. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys should ask me. I grew up down there, so
we didn't know you then. You were at school 11, not 12. So
that makes sense.
School.
Goodness. Any final thoughts here we got going on there for you? You got anything you?
No, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. When you kind of put this out there and had this idea, I was like, man, if I can just stay out of the way, it's going to be fun. Just let these guys go. But hopefully we'll be able to get together again soon. I don't think we have any sort of set schedule yet, but we're working on it. See if the FCC comes down on you real hard.
Yeah, we're going to see where we're at right now.
So we'll see if any of our school administrators do the same, right? And then we'll go from there. But we're looking forward to doing it again.
Well, I think we were all pretty PC today.
I think so.
Pretty PC.
The one thing I want to put out there,
we didn't have to put out the bleeper, right?
No as I know, watching this stream here, I know there's a lot of other coaches out there that are, maybe want to comment or want to ask a question. Maybe going forward, we put out what our agenda is for that, and then let some people ask some questions, maybe that they want answered or they want to know about, hey, on this topic or whatever, just to get the community more involved in what we're trying to do. I mean, this is what we're trying to do, is just, talk about the community, talk about these local businesses, but more importantly, hey, people in the community want a say, want a voice.
Right.
Or if anybody has some really great pictures of Riley Blair coaching, let's comment on that with,
there might be a few of
faces of Riley Blair.
There might be a few of those out there. There might be.
I doubt there's any of him with theatrics at all.
No,
no theatrics.
Very vanilla.
Most people didn't know that until Livestream put that out there.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm thinking people.
It's my fault.
Miller, did anyone watch him coaching? I mean, in our gym,
Right.
I think there was some theatrics there. We could get some pictures of Miller too. And
It's bad when the referee and I are Facebook friends and he comments on it.
I just can't remember this at the middle of half court at Herculaneum.
I remember.
Hey,
Right.
no basket.
Right. Awesome. Well, we're going to throw this number up. If I say it all the time. Give us a call if you're interested, or you want to even, support another business. If you're a business that you're interested in, maybe, adopting a business, if you will, give us a call. We can help keep them going, because that's part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing here. Give us a call, 314-852-4398, or you can email us over at livestreamstl@outlook.com. Throw up a sponsor, or if you're interested in sponsoring with us, this is what we're doing with this right now. So it's $25, and the reason why we're doing it so cheap is because we really just want to make sure that these businesses, maybe down Main Street, Crystal City, Hillsboro, doesn't matter that in the county here, we'll just put it like that. We want to make sure that they stay in business, and it's important for us to be able to help keep them going through these times. I know it's helping us go so they can go, and we can go, and they can go. Coaches can continue to talk about what they want to talk about here, which is great. I felt like this first show was awesome. Good. We weren't kind of, I'm kind of like Schutte. Hey, we're just going to say here, this is what we're going to talk about. Go. And it went pretty well. So and we're talking about having other folks on. We can bring coaches in via like a video chat, things like that. You might not be able to see them, but I will. You'll be able to hear them, which is helpful. So we've got that ability. So
we're gonna have Clancy Moore come on and explain why he's giving Ichi a technical at some point in his career.
Well, he has before, so
Wait a minute.
stop sign.
He has never given me one. So you too?
I might have one.
I
have been given one.
Goodness,
I have not gotten one from
Hey,
Clancy.
Jason, you're killing me.
Right, that's awesome. So we're going to wrap it up here for Ray Halbrook and all of us here at Livestream STL and the Coach's Box. We're going to say so long. We will see you, we say, Monday next week, maybe?
Something like that.
We'll see if we can keep this going every week. All
Monday
right?
or Tuesday
So there
is
you
fine
go.
with me.
There you go. Have a great evening, folks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.